Welcome back to my channel. Hi everyone, I'm Brooklyn and thanks so much for joining. Today we are talking about all things double mastectomy. So I had my double mastectomy in April 2020 and my cancer was on the right side, but because of my BRCA mutation, I just removed both and had the full double. These are the top 5 things that I wish I knew or that was talked about more about removing your breasts. Number 1, you lose sensation and it's weird, real weird. I don't even think my doctor talked to me about that, honestly. When we started talking about all of the side effects and how you'll be afterwards, we focused a lot on the cosmetic, but not on the sensation part. And so when they do the full double mastectomy, they take out everything, tissue, nerves included. And so because you have no nerves, you feel nothing, which sounds like, oh, like, okay, no big deal. No, it's trippy to be able to touch parts of your body and have no feeling. And so that initial feeling of just being detached from your chest is something that took me quite some time to get over. And I can't tell you how many times I've been, woo, in a picture and nip slip, nip out, full blown for everyone to see. I don't even wear tube tops anymore. One time I was at the beach. I was running, Baywatch run into the water. Yeah, take my picture. Full on nudity. Like it was bad. After that, I said no more tube tops. Like I don't even wear them anymore. No more tube tops. It's fine. The sensation loss is something that I wasn't really prepared for and something that still impacts me today. Like sometimes spatially, I'm not aware of my chest. And so I might like cut a corner awkwardly and or bump into somebody and it still doesn't really feel like it's a part of me. And I have to be mindful of it. Number 2, drains. That honestly was probably the worst part of the surgery. I can't remember. I think I had my drains in for about 2 to 3 weeks, which is pretty standard. And there are these long tubes that come out of you with these little bulbs and they collect all the blood, drainage, fluid stuff coming from the surgical site, right? So they're draining all day long. And when I say they were emotionally draining, pun intended, they were physically draining and emotionally draining. My mental health was so negatively impacted by the drains because you can't sleep comfortably. They're like literally stitched to your skin. So like you don't even feel like you could do much movement because you don't want it to rip. You don't want to have any type of freak accident. Drains honestly were a lot. And so if you can have a support person help you with stripping the drains, stripping every day you have to clear the tube. So you just like pull on the tube to get all the blood to go into the little bulb thing. Having somebody to help with that is really nice. And then also having drain friendly clothes. So I got some shirts and things that had pockets on the inside so my drains could sit in there. When I showered, I had a little mesh bag to put my drains in so they weren't just like hanging or I didn't have to hold them. So being smart about the clothing aspect can be helpful, but it was just a whole thing. I was not prepared for how much I was going to hate the drains and every day hoping and praying that they would be able to stop draining so that I can get them removed. Number 3, and this is probably, I would say, one of the biggest things for me, and that's you can grieve and be grateful at the same time. Like duality exists, and I was having trouble at the time being grateful that I'm getting my boobs removed, which have the cancer in them, and it's going to help me get this cancer out of my body, but also grieving breasts. There's so much tied to that with femininity. I wouldn't be able to breastfeed because I was getting rid of both of them. I didn't know what my reconstruction was going to look like, and I had heard stories of people having to change reconstruction or failed reconstruction, so the anxiety of choosing something, like there's all these different options they'll go through with you. How do I make sure I'm choosing the one that I'm going to be happy with years from now? And good news, you can also change that down the line. So it's not like you have to be married to one reconstruction option, which I also, maybe that should have been a 4th point. That was not something originally discussed, but you can change that down the line if it's no longer suiting you. Mourning your old body does not mean that you are ungrateful. So it is okay to experience both. The next thing I wanted to say, and I think this might be 4 or 5, 4, let's say 4. Healing is not linear. Everybody heals differently. I remember when I first had the bandages removed and I was like, oh my gosh, these scars. I freaked out and I thought that this is how they were going to be. Everybody's healing might be a little bit different. Scars heal differently for everybody. And so once you get to a place, you're also able to use scar cream, different topicals and things like that once your doctor approves you to. And that's actually been really helpful for me. Now that I'm further out, I was able to do massages to the area, to my scars, using scar treatment, healing things, and the look and appearance of the scars have improved drastically. So don't feel like what you see as soon as you take off the bandages off is how it will look, you know, a year later. Last thing I want to talk about is that clothing may fit differently than it did before. When you have a natural breast tissue, it's way more mobile. I had expanders placed, which are little balloons that they inflate until it gets to the point where they can put an implant in. Clothes can fit quite differently for a while or beyond, if we're being honest here. Natural tissue has it's got a lot more mobility. It can fill into a cup, fill into a shirt, and it gives that natural breast look. Expanders and implants are not natural, right? So they can fill out clothes a little differently. Implants, the way, especially if you've had radiation too, my radiated side is a lot more tight than the other side, and it can feel like almost bowls sitting on your chest. Like when you lay down on the ground, it literally feels like you are laying on something, bowls or something. I say all that to say clothes can fit differently. I don't even get dresses or shirts that have those preset cups in them because I just know it's not gonna be the same. It's not gonna look the same as it used to. It's not gonna be the same. Ooh, I'm having a hot flash. Medical menopause. Clothes don't fit the same anymore, but you learn to choose items and clothes that work best for your body. So that was something that I was like, ugh, I had these clothes that I loved and maybe they don't look the same anymore, and I was getting all in my head about it, but I made it a fun excuse to go shopping and get some new clothes that work with my new breasts, or my foobs as I like to call them. So those, I would say, are my top 5 things that I wish I knew before I had my mastectomy. If you want to hear more breast cancer related topics, don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll see you next week.